Hello there, my cosmic companions. I'm Gosha from the Cosmic Agency. Let's start today's video and let's get it over with. It is something that I was not really very keen on doing, but I think, and our team thinks also, that it's time to address this, get it over with. And if you don't know what I mean when I say the Interstellar Mediator, then please shut this video off. It's not of your concern. This is to address a topic that I know is circulating around, and that is the topic of the already said Interstellar Mediator, the older lady who has put us in touch with Taygetans in 2017. And we decided to address this subject, even though we have been debating this for a long time, if we should or shouldn't. And we finally decide we should, it's time. And why? Because the lady has been working towards the holographic society. She claims herself to be the interstellar mediator between different races. And I know some of you, some of our followers in Spanish and English channels are also following her work. They don't have the full story from us because we have never actually said anything on the subject. We never even call her by her name. We always said the older lady, out of respect for her, out of respect for us wanting to continue our way and with her having her own way. However, she has not really stuck to the same idea, and basically she is influencing a lot of people that are drawn to her because of her past Taygetan contact, and what they are drawing their image of the Taygetans on is only on our information on the channel, but also on her information of the story. And I think it's just time to share our story and also share the Taygetan position on why the communication with Sina, because that's her name, did not work out. Many of you are wondering what really happened there. So let me just get this over with. It's time, it's a new phase. We have with us now Yasi Svaru, new consciousness, new energies, new feelings. So let's just throw away the old and leave it behind us. Leave it behind us for everybody, okay? So let's just start by saying, and by the way, at the end of the video, I will have the testimony of the 3 Taygetan men who will also speak on the subject. But that's going to be at the end. Okay, let's get it over with. I have come in contact with the Interstellar Mediator, Sina, let's just call her by her name, in 2017, after Robert, my work partner in Spanish, has met her at the Ufology World Congress in Barcelona. Yes, he was the first one to actually meet with her, and she introduced him to the Taygetans. After a short while, he introduced me to her, and she introduced me to Svaru, and that was in December 2017. In that time, we still didn't have the direct individual contact with them. It was all through her. So we were supporting her work. We offered to help her. We both had our YouTube channels, and we decided to help her making videos. I started to make videos for her, and after a while, after a few months of doing that, she actually decided not to have our services anymore, and without much explanation, she basically cut the ties with us, and we stopped working with her until today. Actually, we don't know exactly why and what happened and what we did wrong. I guess nothing. It was just we didn't serve her anymore according to her ideas of how we could be of service for her, and more about this in the course of this video. So at that time, we separated and we continued our work on our channels, and she continued hers. And Robert got contacted by Svaru or Aneka, I'm not sure, I don't remember, directly at this point. And very short after that, I was added to that communication, and we started talking to them individually already. We haven't spoken, and we haven't seen her since then, since that time. That was the end of our contact with her. We knew nothing about her since that time. And we have started communicating with Taygetans directly, and this communication continues until now. It can be confirmed by multiple people that we are still in contact with them. The information keeps flowing. We are not getting this information from any PDF or from her information, because that's what we heard she's saying out there also, that we have based our information on her information, which is completely not true, because with her we've been only for a few months, and after that we started individual contact with the Taygetans. We are very grateful to her for having introduced us to Svaru and to the Taygetan team. Without her it wouldn't have been possible, so thank you very much. We appreciate that. We will always have appreciation for her for that. However, in early April 2018, we started our own individual direct contact with them without her in the picture anymore, and all our information is coming directly from our private conversations with them. So that's that. So now I have a few points directly from the Taygetans themselves, who wish to also contribute to this video and explain some of the reasons why the relationship did not work out between Sina and between them. And let's put an end to all the speculations out there. So yes, Aneka is confirming, I'm here translating some of this from Spanish directly. She is confirming that Sina, yes, of course, she had contact with the Taygetans, with them, but this contact has stopped quite a while ago, and for the reasons that you will see. She is not, I repeat, she is not in contact with the Taygetans anymore. And this is very, very important. She is also, as of today, not in contact with any extraterrestrial. And this is very important because many of you might be drawn to her because of her apparent status as the mediator between the races, where in fact she has no contact whatsoever with any stellar races. Period. Now, what they have to say about her, it's actually something that cannot be summed up in just a few points. It's actually a variety of different points, thanks to which this communication, this collaboration between them did not work. So yes, she was in contact with them for a few years, and this contact was interrupted a few times because of the personal difficulties, a personal interaction. It wasn't working out. And then few times, 3 times, this contact was renovated because they were trying to give her another chance. They wanted to give her another chance because of the friendship they established with her. But because of the frictions that she herself was causing, that continuous work with her was just more and more impossible. As they say here, she was controlling, she was manipulating, and she always wanted to get things done exactly as she envisioned them without considering their points of view. And that I can confirm because in the short time I was working with her, I also noticed her highly manipulative tendencies. She was also censoring a lot of information between the humans and them. And, you have to understand that she has spent her life dedicated to the spiritual illumination and to the spiritual path. And she has been regarded by many as a spiritual guru. She had many followers in her past, and that's how she spent most of her life. So what's really bothered her at that point was coming across a little young Svaru who, from the ship, who has seemed to know so much more about the spirituality and the realities than her. And she wasn't controllable. She didn't obey. And that bothered Sina very much. She started to grow resentment toward her and generally toward Taygetans. And all that in the name of the highly illuminative status that she regards herself to possess. She believes herself to be an illuminated being who knows everything, and basically she wasn't considering the perspective of the Taygetans enough. So as they say here, she started resenting Taygetans, especially Svaru, because they were becoming too big for her, questioning her, and she was not used to that, to people questioning her in her long life of being a spiritual guru for others. They continue to explain that they felt mistreated by her. Basically, it was few years of contact where they were trying to make it work. The ones who were mostly mistreated, I would say, is Aneka and Svaru. Even though they gave her 3 opportunities to repair the relationship and friendship. But as they say, she was always making it worse again, imposing everything in her own way. They gave her their trust. They called her their own. She was part of the team already, one could say, until they started to feel that she was exploiting them, started to manipulate them and bullying them around, bossing them around too much. And I know from many witnesses that that's how it goes in between her and people, and I can confirm that as well. And Taygetans felt that also. They are very, noble creatures. Taygetans are very innocent and pure, and they never impose anything on anyone. They always take your opinion and your perspective into consideration. The decisions are always made in councils together. Like every time we have a serious decision to make, we make a special appointment for the council meeting, and we debate and we discuss and we consider everybody's points. And that's not how the work was with Sina. She was the one always trying to control everything and boss them around, because she regarded herself to be spiritually enlightened, even above them. So that was just not something that they were ready to accept, even though they really tried. In their society, everybody is so respected. So they don't have the same defenses as we have here on earth to know how to respond to being bullied and to abusive people, to abusive personalities. So she hurt them very much, I must say, and that's why also I'm making this video. To protect them and to explain to people exactly what happened and why they feel the way they feel and why they cut the communication with her. As they say here, we gave her our friendship, our information, our love. But what did they get in turn? A cold, calculated creature who just tried to manipulate and control everything. She was inflexible, impulsive, and it was just impossible to cooperate with someone like that. They are saying they respect her efforts and her group of people, but they are just asking, and we are just asking, please, to leave us alone and let us continue our work. Each to their own. We have never mentioned her in 2.5 years of our work. We have never made any comments about her anywhere in any public place, but we know because we received the information from many of our followers that she has been leaving negative comments about us, our work, and about Taygetans, damaging their image in the eyes of the public. And that's why I'm making this video, because the public needs to know more, needs to know the other side as well, and also, importantly, the Taygetans' perspective themselves. So let's continue here. They shared with us that it was impossible to work with her because every take of a decision, as I said a little bit above, every decision was imposed by her under the pretext of her being the enlightened one. And they were feeling that many of these decisions that she wanted to impose on them didn't correspond to her, because she's not the one who is a member of the holographic society. So she doesn't have the vision of a real holographic society member. So it's not her position to be imposing these kinds of decisions on stellar society, on stellar people, and basically stick her nose into stellar affairs. As enlightened as she might regard herself to be, she doesn't have the full vision, or any vision priorly at all, of how the stellar things in a real holographic society work. So she doesn't have the right to impose any of her opinions on them. Of course, she has the right to express her opinion, and I confirm they always respect our opinion, but in no way can we impose anything, just the same as they never impose anything. What Sina is trying to do, she's trying to create those bases for the holographic society, and that's why many people probably could be interested in that idea. But what we need to say here is that the way she's organizing it, she's using it, she's doing it without the perspectives and without the memberships of the real holographic society races. As I said, she has no contact with any Taygetan or with any other extraterrestrial, and she's imposing her own ideas about how the holographic society must work. That's why it didn't work out with them, because they, coming from the real holographic society, wanted to offer their ideas, and they were not well received. They were squashed and bullied around. Now, as they are saying here, it's us who know how the real holographic society works, not her. It's just according to her imagination, how she imagines it works. She has no right to discard our point of view in favor on her own, only because that view comes from her, an enlightened being, as she perceives herself. That point of view cannot be taken above ours, the real holographic society members who know how this kind of society works. Another point, very, very, very important point, is that she's also using some information that she learned from Taygetans. She's using that information outside of the context, and it is with the goal to contaminate a little bit the image of the Taygetan society. And this will be understood a little bit more when I will bring the 3 Taygetan men into this conversation here. Conversation or monologue that I'm having with myself, well, for you. Now, let's continue. So she has been found making derogatory, negative, belittling comments about the Taygetans and about us as well. And like I said, I find it not fair and not just that after them being friends to her for such a long time and offering so much information for a couple of years, that she would be doing something like that, taking things out of context, misinterpreting things for the people and planting the seeds in the minds of the people against the Taygetans. It's not fair, and I'm not going to allow this, and that's why I'm here. We have been trying to ignore this for a very long time, but now it's time to speak out, and so we are. Another point that they shared with us is that they always recognize how much they learned from her, but she has never acknowledged what she learned from them. And what's even worse, a lot of the information, a lot of the knowledge that was imparted to her from them and from Svaru, she is using it as her own without giving them any credit. That's very unethical from my point of view. And here what they are saying, the biggest lesson that actually we learned is how not to be. She taught us how not to be. Thanks to her, we know how we do not want to be. Now the public, they are saying here again, enters groups that she is forming looking for contact with us. Taygetan words, with us. Assuming that she has the extraterrestrial contact, when it is not the case. I already said that, but I'm saying it again because it's a very important point She doesn't have an extraterrestrial contact. She's not mediating anything. Furthermore, what she's asking a lot of her volunteers, a lot of her workers, and this is something I'm confirming too because I had to do that as well. She's asking for this special detailed dossier of your life where you will be describing your path and what made you the person you are. You're supposed to put images that describe you, and this with the excuse of sending this to them, to the extraterrestrials, to the Taygetans, when in fact, and we got this confirmed by the Taygetans, they never received these dossiers. They have never received ours. And I spent days preparing this and being so excited about this extraterrestrial contact, and they never received it. So as they explain here, what she's doing with those dossiers, she's collecting this information for herself because she needs to know the weaknesses and the strengths of each person and how each person can serve her. Very few dossiers have reached us, they said, and sometimes it's heavily censored as well. With that, she never tried to mediate the contact. It was always controlling the contact. And with that, I must say the nickname they have for her now is not Med as she signs herself to be, but it's actually Con, which comes from controller, interstellar controller. So they are saying it's just simply impossible to be close to the person that always wants to be right about everything, is totally inflexible and desires to control each single step. Also, this is for the people who are maybe somewhere near her circles. She's giving the information extremely slowly, extremely, drop by drop, very slowly. And as they are confirming to us, it has been noticed that on various occasions she has modified the conversations in the transcripts to her convenience and for it to comply with a certain agenda according to her own idea. And then she makes people work for free. For her, it's a requirement because they are being prepared for the holographic society. And she is completely belittling people who are still trying to make a living in this life. Like us, we are doing this full time. It's our work, and she knows we have no other source of income. And we have also heard her say out there that this is not right what we are doing, monetizing our channel, for example, by the way, which I don't in English. The only channel I have monetized is the Spanish one, and it's only because I need basic minimum to survive and to continue this work. So going back to the free work of her group members, this is in the name of the holographic society that she's trying to create. But the problem here is that on top of that holographic society will be her. She wants to run it her own way, and without the presence of the extraterrestrials, who are actually really forming a part of the authentic holographic society. So something is not right here. Few more points, and we go into our Taygetan men testimonies. Is that many times we have seen some screenshots of her discrediting the intention of the Taygetans and our intention, where, for example, she's saying that with the information of the Federation, where we were sharing the information about the Federation, that this is to confront extraterrestrial races one against the other, where in fact, and that they are using us, we are being used in order to confront one race against another, where in fact this is completely not true. We have never feel used in any way. Every decision about every video, about the video of that importance, like that one of the Federation, is always taken together. They never imposed any idea on us. It's always our own free will, and it's always our own decision to complete any video that we do. It never comes as their imposition in any way. And the information about the Federation, I believe it was necessary, and I think it's necessary for the people to slowly, finally understand what the truth is. Here, behind the curtains, what's going on Earth, and also what's going on out there in space. The Federation, for example, is never going to do that. Well, never. Right now, is not doing it. It's not making people aware of these things, but the Taygetans and us, Robert and me, we believe that humans need to know and deserve to know. So it is not, we are not being used here for any purpose. Another point, and this connects with this whole Federation topic, is that the lady of whom we are speaking discredits the emotions, and she is also belittling the Taygetans in the eyes of the humans for their emotions. And that's why she was criticizing them for not being in agreement with the Federation. So there are a lot of things here, and this list could continue. There are actually a lot more things of which I cannot speak because they are kind of classified, not because of us but because of them. And I want to end with this last point, and this is a very important point, and I find it insulting to the Taygetan men and women, because she's claiming that Taygetans are mistreating their men. Yes, they are a matriarchal society, the women are leaders, but in no way does it mean that the men are below women, that they are mistreated, and that they cannot enter the positions of power, let's call it that way, leadership, I would say, maybe not power, leadership. So here, Khila, who is actually one of the Taygetan men, the leader of the Hashmalim group, he was in contact with Sina, and he's sharing that he always felt this favoritism toward him and toward the men, and she was always resenting more the women. So they definitely believe that she is misogynistic. That's how it felt to them, and that's how I feel also she is looking at various comments that she's publishing about how Taygetan women are with their men, and how men are something less. And it is simply not true. It's distortion of facts, it's disinformation, and it's just not being fair. Like I said, it's not being fair because of the friendship that she has received and the treatment that she received from them, their friendship, their love, and their care. So with this, I'm going to end this video. Now you will hear 3 different testimonies. The first one is from Kalel, the other one is from Ragel, and then the third one is from Khila. And Khila is the one who was in contact with her, and this is his declaration. So with this, let's close this subject, let's close the chapter. I know it might have been boring for some of you. I hope that if you don't know what I'm talking about, you were not present in this video. But those of you who know about this lady, I think you needed to know the Taygetan and our position in this subject. Okay, so subject closed. I'm leaving you with these testimonies, and let's continue with really, really interesting and exciting subjects after this one. Thank you very much.
I am a Taygetian man, and in no way do I feel exploited, mistreated, or with fewer opportunities than women. My friends, like Ragel, think the same. We are not below women. Sinna does not conceive that we leave the command posts to women. Generalizing. But we have not left them. We are simply interested in other things. Politics here consists of many councils where there is a lot of talk. And for this, women are much better equipped than us. That is all. Another point is that on Earth you do not have the concept of empowered femininity, only empowered women who behave in a masculine or in a masculinized way, not as feminine women with instincts of maternal protection of the population. Hence, you do not understand that in a holographic society, women are the ones who are even biologically designed for leadership roles. So for us, it frees us to do other things that we like more. We do not have the thirst for power that characterizes the human man. We are not obsessed with being great leaders of anything. Greetings to all. Dhor Kalel.
Hi, and greetings to all. I, Khila from Procyon, give my statement regarding Sina. I was in contact with her directly for the duration of a few weeks, where I witnessed that in her group of DUFES, she controlled absolutely everything. She was the one deciding how long each person should talk to one another. She controlled the duration of the meeting and the subject. She was pairing men with men and women with women in an effort to prevent their animal instincts from interfering with her agenda. She put me in touch with a man called Marcos, and I was told that he wanted to talk to me about spaceships, but in reality, he was not at all interested in the subject and seemed totally bored having to talk to me. Men were given special treatment, stellar or earthly men alike. I witnessed clear misogyny on Sina's part. I also witnessed how she tried to manipulate Svadu and Aneka by minimizing their influence on the group, by isolating them from people who wanted to speak to them, and downplaying both of them by treating them as her servants. I am a witness that everything had to revolve around pleasing her and imposing her will, with the premise of being enlightened, which in her mind gave her the right to decide everything, and with her opinion being worth more than everyone else's. She edited and modified conversations and texts at her convenience, and for me personally, the most serious issue was that she edited and deleted from my summary and description of life my partner and wife, Alanem of Temur. Evidence of this is shown in a recent video of an interview with me, where upon reaching the section partner, it was only mentioned that yes, she imposed on me the rank of captain under the idea that in this way, that would bring out more respect in others. I'm not a captain. It was only because of her imposition. Thank you. Greetings to all.
I did not speak to her, but I was aware of what was happening. And I declare that I am a Taygetan man, originally from the island of Teleka. And I don't feel even a bit exploited for living in a matriarchal society. I feel that the fact that women are more interested in politics frees us men from that work. It is a common feeling that I share with others with whom I have spoken. I feel great in this society, and it is the first time that I heard that men are repressed there. I only see it as statements based on complete ignorance and distortion of facts. Social gender roles are marked in Taygeta, but I feel that it must be so. Not because there is limited activity for one or the other genre, but because we are very clear about our identity. It is a lie that there are no men in positions of power or in political positions within councils. There are many, but it is true that, generalizing, there are more women there. I think Taygeta is a very fair society for everyone, with a good balance of feminine and masculine energies. I would not wish to live in any other civilization. Thank you very much, and greetings to all. Ragel of Temer.